Good day. Hope everybody out there is having a good one. Anybody new to the channel around here, we like to find new music from all around the globe, of all genres, all different types. We have found a lot of great stuff. We follow suggestions, so if you have any suggestions of artists, and even regions of areas we should be checking out the music, please drop a comment down below, and I would invite you to subscribe, take a look around, and we got some pretty awesome playlists. And one band that really kind of started this voyage into this whole journey is a band called Nightwish. Now they have just revealed their their new album, and the title Yesterwynde. I guess you could call it Yesterwind, and that would still be cool. But I think the Y and the E make it wind. But at any rate, I want to talk a little bit about this. Um, this is Kerrang brought a couple articles actually about the album. One that just kind of skims over what's going on, and one that gets a little bit more in depth. But it says Nightwish have announced details of their 10th album, Yesterwynde. Get ready for a fantastical voyage through time, memory, and better angles of human nature. Finnish symphonic metalers Nightwish have revealed that their new album will be titled Yesterwynde. I still think Yesterwind would be a cool name too. Is it how it would be pronounced over there? Yesterwind. Um, Coming 4 years after wow, it's been now coming 4 years after the 2020's Human Nature, the band promised that the record will have an optimistic slant despite writing beginning partially out of boredom, born of isolation and lockdown. Mr. Wind is a fantastical voyage through time, memory, and the better angles of human nature, says keyboardist and songwriter Thomas Holopainen. Um, three years in the making. We're thrilled beyond words to soon share our 10th album with the world. Now the first single is going to be released May 21st, and it's kind of neat. It's kind of a cool birthday present. But we got a track list. It May 21st on my birthday, but still. uh they start the album right off with the title track, and then they go into an ocean of strange islands. All these titles are just cool. The Antikythera mechanism, the day of, perfume of the timeless, sway, the children of Ada, um and uh something whispered follow me, spider silk, Hiraif, the weave, and lantern light. It just in the song titles alone seems like it's gonna be an awesome journey. And the other article that Kerrang had released says the whole theme of the album is time, history, humanism, mortality. It's really optimistic, which is, not to say we're not getting that, but it's great for there to be some optimism in a pessimistic kind of reality that we're in these days. And you know, I always, talk about, music, being, a big part of, escapism. It's a place that you go to get away from things. And I have found personally that Nightwish is one of those bands that, even, when it's something I, deeply relate to, it's something that gives me new perspective and, a new feeling. And it's just, yeah, they have the tendency to write these optimistic type songs, even when there's, you know, almost, you know, evil kind of chords. It's just they have some fantastic writing ability. But I'm going way out into the. Okay. In the 4 years since the last album, Finnish symphonic metal titans Nightwish have been through much change, challenge, and uncertainty. And that's without the pandemic kicking the legs out of the underneath a year's worth of touring plans for 2020's Human Nature, a month after it came out. That that disrupted a lot of bands. And I know for a fact that there are bands that were just about to make the leap to being mainstream, or just, had, signed on that dotted line, and all of a sudden all this happened and wiped a bunch of stuff away. Um, some of these contracts have clauses, acts of God, or acts of, stuff that's way out of the realm. And I guess that would apply with some contracts. But first, in December of that year, longtime bassist and vocalist Marco Italia announced that he was leaving the band in October 2022. Now he's been doing stuff with the original Singatara, not only doing concerts, but recording some songs and stuff together. I've said for a while, if him and Floor made an album together, or him and Tower made an album together, it would it would be beautiful. The singer Floor Jansen revealed that she had been diagnosed with breast cancer and successfully underwent surgery, and we're thankful that she came out of that swimmingly, and everything worked. Just glad that it worked out great, because it's not always the prognosis with a lot of people. That word's pretty scary. Then last year they dropped a worrying news bomb announcing that upon completion of their then current touring duties, which had included a mammoth show at Wembley, they weren't going to be booking any more gigs for an unspecified period of time, including, they confirmed, even when a new album came, which is very uh the bands tour with their new album for several reasons, one of them being money. And when bands sign deals with labels or whatever, it's usually with the idea involved that you're going to be touring to sell this album. And not only that, you got merch sales, you got a bunch of stuff going on. But they, I think, wisely chose, for their own sanity, and with how everything is just, and they got a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes. They chose to do something that not a lot of bands get to just do, which is just not tour, or just tour when they want. And also, there's other technical stuff behind the scenes that helps set that in place as well. There being a lack of tour buses, there being a lack of drivers, there being a lack of a lot of stuff, because there's still shows and tours that are making up for the last few years of dumbness. So yeah, it's been, hectic, a lot behind the scenes, trust me. Knowing all aspects, and people from that work in all areas of it, it's just been controlled or semi-controlled chaos. Um, After the planned shows of June 2023, we will be hanging up our spurs. Remember that? We had talked about that for an undeterminate time. As far as live concert performances go, and won't be touring the next album. I can't believe that they won't at least do some shows. The reason for this decision are personal, but we all agree vital to the well being and future of the band. Um, you know, be assured that we still love working together, and this decision was nothing to do with Flo's pregnancy or our other individual projects. You got to remember, she toured basically through her whole pregnancy, and it was like right down to the last month that she was like, all right, I gotta take a break. And yeah, um so you gotta give her. And then she was like, okay, ready. It's like you just have the thing, calm down. But yeah, it was really good. I thought it was, some women are like that. They want to get back, to their life, and without, having to care for this thing inside them. Um, they did, however, promise new music. True to their word, they've just announced that this summer they'll release their 10th album, which we've been talking about. A record immediately more heavy than its predecessor. It's also one that sounds refreshed, vital, and optimistic. Yes, that's definitely a word you could use for it, says Thomas. When when they caught up with him in the Berlin to get the skinny. Um, it's been a while since I've seen that term used. It's funny. The Get the skinny, get the news. The whole theme of the album is time, history, humanism, mortality, and it has a really optimistic vibe going through it all. The first track, Perfume of the Timeless, arrives on May 21st, um, uh, which we were talking about, ahead of all that, which I'm sure they'll probably be releasing, at least usually. And I'm just saying, usually there's at least a few tracks released before the release of the album. So I can only assume that that's, where this is the first of a few tracks that will be released, and then bam, we'll get the album. You know, be totally wrong, because they're doing, to say that they're doing things, unconventionally is an understatement when it comes to how things usually, get done in the biz, as they say. Now, uh, when asked, you've been working on the album for ages. When did you start exactly? He said, I started writing it in January 2021. It was the second year of the pandemic, and I wasn't supposed to start writing songs for this album yet, but there was nothing else to do because of the old C word there. So I thought I might as well use the time for that. So I used all of 2021 to do that. Then in early 2022, we did a demo with just me and the engineer, and had to listen to the demo with the whole band for the first time in May 2022, during our American tour. It's always really exciting the moment you present um, the new songs to the band, and terrifying, to be honest. Um, you know, different bands have always, written stuff differently. That I found out like bands, literally written their albums apart from one another. Like they've never even shared studio space. And then there's other bands that the band just writes all the music, does all the stuff like Tool, we'll say. And then the singer comes in and lays it down. This is another, way where Thomas is the writer of, a great deal of all of the music. I I can I wish it would have been really cool to see, and it's really neat to see it all put together and hear it for the first time. And here's the idea, guys. What do you think? And that's basically what happened. Then we started recording last August, and it took a few months to record. And after that, 4.5 months of mixing and mastering sessions. It could take up to 6 months, sometimes a year, to mix and master an album. There's going to be a lot. There's going to be a lot in atmospheric mix of the album, and the orchestral version of the album. So there'll be two mixes. That's neat. Um, Again, unconventional stuff going on here, and that's what I love about. It's like they don't do. I hate using this term because it sounds so cliche, but it's like they don't play by the rules. They don't, this is how things are supposed to be done. They don't do that. They do it, and they're in a state in their career where they can. And so they are. And look, do it. If I was in that position, I was on my 10th album and could just, you know what? I don't need the millions of dollars. I don't need to go through the hassle of touring and all the stress that comes with that. I'd like to just put out the album and then go relax or go do these other projects. It's great to be in that position. Now, Karangas, that's not long after Human Nature came out. Um, were you doing it with the hard intention of writing a full album, or were you just initially doing something just to pass time? Um, and Thomas says, for some reason, I just felt really inspired. I felt like it was the perfect time um, to do another Nightwish album. And like I said, there was nothing else to do. The previous album, Human Nature, was released in April 2020, about a month after the vid started, and all the lockdowns and all that crap. So tough luck there. It was frustrating, as it was for everybody. But as always, you have to try to look at the bright side of things, as you do, and you gotta, and he says, okay, maybe this album, now people can listen to it in peace. They have nothing else to do either. Maybe it brings them some hope and comfort during the dark times. So you always have to turn things an optimistic way, and that's great. It's awesome to have bands out there focused on yeah. There's a lot of things I could bitch about. There's a lot of things that I could really get out and maybe get off my chest, but I would like to take this opportunity to put some optimism out there. And man, I gotta say, I did that. I think that's cool. And to be actively thinking that, I just think that's really awesome. This is a lot more of a metal album than the last one. Was that a conscious thing? That just happened. We never ever think about this stuff in advance, and that's how a lot of music works. It just, it just comes out, and it's magic. Let's make a heavier album. It's just the stories need to be told in a certain way, and this time they needed to be told in this way, which was heavier. And it really is. It's really interesting that you should say that, because there were two journalists yesterday who said, I was expecting something much more metal. This is a really mellow album. Really? Okay. I don't hear it that way, but it's all in the listener's ear, I guess. Um, so to them, they feel like they've written um, a, a heavier album. The article goes on to ask about the the first single, Perfume, of the Timeless. It's a nearly 10-minute song. Not exactly easing people in, are you? um, no, but when we had the first meeting with Nuclear Blast talking about the new album and singles, I told them the first single will be a song called Perfume of the Timeless. And it's 8.5 minutes long, and the chorus comes in at 3 minutes and 30 seconds, which is the length of the average song. So yeah, loving it already. And they were like, perfect. You're gonna love it, man. I think that has to do with the fact that we have a long legacy, and we can do whatever we want, and I do, but it says something that we could do that. When I heard that Spotify, it's good to have the vocals start after 15 seconds or people skip it. They don't have that attention span anymore. Yeah, he's kind of throwing shade on that, which, look, Spotify just wants artists to make more, put out more stuff so we can rob you more. Taylor Swift just broke records over on Spotify with 1 billion streams and whatever amount of time, and still only made 45 grand. I mean, yeah, that's a lot of money, but that's 1 billion streams. It just doesn't see the numbers. They're not cool. And that's why I don't push Spotify links unless, that's all a band's got. I encourage bands, and I encourage people to go to places like Bandcamp or the band's official site or the labels. And there are good labels out there like Nuclear Blast. They've been around for a while for a reason. And there's some good indie labels that I've talked about, Inverse, and stuff like that that are from that area, that are great labels to check out as well. So yeah, Eclipse Records is another one that I would check out. But anyway, the idea of being able to do that, I remember back in the day when Guns N' Roses was like, oh, we're going to put out November Rain, and it was such a big deal because the song was so long. And it's like, if you're writing good music, people are going to stick around to listen to the whole thing. Thinking that everybody doesn't have that attention span, it's almost like you're setting out to make sure that that's a reality. And we would know why that is, because again, more stuff, more money, more stuff that we could push in front of you, more ads, more. So anyway, so when I asked what did the title mean, it's a made up word. There's this thing called the Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. It gave me Dictionary of Obscure Sorrows. There is? I have to go check this out. It gave me the idea that if you don't have an English word to describe a certain emotion, you can just make your own. This particular dictionary is dedicated to that, like the feeling of longing for a place that you have never been in. That is, what is that feeling? And it was something weird I can remember. And this album was born from a certain sensation that I felt really strongly, but I couldn't find a word in human language to describe it. So I started to talk with Troy, um, which he's a multi-instrumental, and said, should we come up with a new word? Does that make any sense to you? And he was like, yeah, that's a brilliant idea. What do you have in mind? And it was something like time, memories, going black and white, sepia. And I said, something yesterday. Then I said, how about Yesterwynde? Or Yesterwynde, yeah, Yesterwynde, I think it is. That's perfect, but yeah, it's just a made up word to describe what the album is about. And that's, when it gets described like that, that's so apt. And it's such a, and I think we're in a time where people do have that feeling of longing for places. We see that there's generations that long to be in another generation. They were born from generations ago, they they long to be, not just stylized and stuff, but they long for the 80s and the 90s and stuff, and they were born in the 2000s. And you know I understand that. Sometimes it's more than just appreciation. I feel that for, like, even way back, my term would be like yesteryear, you know, way back. I'm a sucker for all that history and all that stuff. Even biblical history and stuff. And it's a great way to explain all that. And I think that's, yeah, it's a when you think about it, it really is an apt word. And they say a sense of longing, and he says not so much longing as realizing what time is all about, realizing that there is such a thing as time and past in history. The internet and YouTube is full of these old black and white images, and even video clips that you first see in black and white, and then they have become colored. Have you seen those? That's the effect that I get at the moment. It's like it's coming from another dimension or another timeline. Excuse me. As if it were filmed yesterday. Something happens in my mind when I see those. I thought this is this has to be put into a song or onto an album somehow. Suddenly I feel so connected to these past generations. And I understand what he's talking about, like when they, take out like even old film that was from like the early 1900s, and they like restore it into 4K, and even keep it in black and white. And it's just amazing. And yeah, it's like, wow, it does give you this feeling like you're stepping back into history. Like, that's, wow. You get a better view of what it really looked like. And then, like I said, when they do color it, that's even more of a, like, you feel like you can touch it more, or like you're a bit closer to it than before. And that's, yeah, that's a great way to put it. they've all had their lives, their ups and downs, and they don't exist anymore, except as atoms scattered all over the universe. And we're going to be in that state pretty soon as well. So, so that we should give you something to think about. Uh, it's a great way to look at life and all that. I'll go on for a little bit more. That's a very positive outlook. They said. They said, "Are you just worried about getting older?" Not at all. On the contrary, he laughs. But they are ultimate cliche of seize the day. That's something that I think about more and more. We're all going to be dead soon. It's just a matter of what we're gonna do before that. And that is a great lesson to be learned. I mean, I think about that with a lot of things. Do you want to leave something behind that people, or do you want to do something to help, even in a minuscule type of way, like even with this, helping expose people to music and places or from places and genres and stuff that they never knew even existed, or artists that they didn't even know, that are doing things you didn't even know were humanly possible. I just think, and like I said, if you want to see more stuff like that, please do hit the subscribe button and take a look around because yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Um, that's a very positive outlook. They said. You can hear that in the record. There's an enthusiasm. Man, I wish I got something. I have Nuclear Blast on my promos thing. Maybe I have it. Um, rather than uh, there's a sense of enthusiasm rather than a sense of bleakness or defeat. Yes, spot on. People often ask, where do you get the inspiration? Well, just look at the world. Look at this world. Look at everything that's happening. Um, look at the sky, the specific innovations. History is so full of stories that are just a bottomless pit of inspiration, and also especially these days there's a lot of fear mongering going on, like end of the world scenarios, which I find, let's say, distressing, but also a bit annoying, because humankind has ceased to see the good that we have accomplished as well. And yes, I understand what you say. We seem to let ourselves get so divided and so caught up in all this drama when it's like, look at what we've accomplished as a species. I know you'd like to subcategorize us and put us all in our own subgenres, but look at what we've done and what we've pulled off as a species, from coming out of caves to talking to you through a screen. It's you know there's no denying that the world is going through a horrible stage at the moment, but it's always been like that. If you go back to the Middle Ages, things were much worse. Obviously, that was before modern medicine. Throughout human history, it's always been like this, but now, because of fear mongering and media and the authorities, whether political or religious, telling us that it's all coming to an end, we have to repent, and all that, people buy into it. They live miserable lives because of that. They forget the beauty of existence. It's an unbelievable stroke of luck and a privilege that we are actually alive. So you might as well enjoy it. And I think with that, I will leave you with that. There's a bit more to this article. I will leave you linked up to both Kerrang articles. I love their outlook and just there's so I have to agree that there's so much going on in the world right now. Well, let's go on a little bit more. There's a song called the Antikythera mechanism, which is the name of an ancient Greek device used for astronomy. You don't get many bands writing about that. He says, yeah, it's considered today to be the first analog computer made by mankind. So imagine 2,200 years ago in ancient Greece, they were able to build a computer. It just blew my mind when I read about the machine and there's a lot of technology that's been lost. And I think, mankind has existed. There's been multiple, you know, runs, we'll say. And I think that there's even been a time where maybe technology was far more superior than it is today. Um, there's a lot of the more and more we dig, the more and more we kind of see these things. Um, I was just thinking that humankind was so advanced back in those days um, that we're able to build a machine like this. I mean, what happened? What if religions hadn't happened, or the burning of Library Alexander haven't happened? Can you imagine? Um, where would mankind be today? Maybe we would be living across the solar system already. Who knows? Um, and that's the thing too. I mean, and when I mean, you know, people always seem to, they'll get uptight about books being taken away that, the news says you should be upset about or whatever before they even look into what these books are about. But then also, there's actual, like, history not being taught the way it used to. And a lot of stuff is just skimmed over that used to be really thoroughly explained, and I don't understand. Well, I have an idea, but it does not benefit humankind to dumb society down. Um, Again, it feels like there's still a very positive outlook on the music, rather than moaning. That's all. It's all gone wrong. I think it comes down to the word imagination, which is the biggest strength that we have as a human species compared to other lower species. We like to imagine things that might be better on the other side of the fence, and things we will never have. But also, imagination takes us to huge innovation. So it's a really good thing. Now, imagination creates music. Music is that type of magic. I think musicians, even myself, take for granted the sonic things that we could create, or that musicians can create. And uh, yeah, music is one of those things I think really gets taken for granted, and it's literally just coming out of somebody's head and being turned into a reality. Think about that. That literally it's in somebody's head and it's made into a real thing that can be listened to. Hell, even touched on hell if you get a CD or album or whatever. But um, the ancient Greeks did that with their computer. They started to imagine. Is there a way to predict those solar eclipses or star constellations? Now you got to remember, with a computer like this, you would have control. If you could predict eclipses and stuff, you could have control over your knowledge is power. If you know about things that the general population doesn't, you can use that to your advantage. This still happens to us to this day. It's a crazy story from a long time ago. 1965, I think. Some of the kids are still alive. It's important to tell these stories. Oh, whoops! I skipped a whole part. Constellations moving? I bet there is. Let's start building a machine. So it all started from imagining. It's as simple with creating any art or music. Could there be, like I just said, could there be a way to tell story through music? I do that a lot. There's a lot of songs, and they do. The Children of Ada, which is a wonderful story of these kids on a desert island and surviving there for 15 months. I heard the story and thought there has to be a way to put that into music. And you think about the people that survived and like they made the movie Alive. And people, there's, humans can do incredible things. It's a crazy story from not that long ago, 1965. I think some of the kids are still alive. It's important to tell these stories because it really did happen, and maybe it can change the human perspective of the concept that if you take a bunch of people and put them into an isolated place for a certain period of time, they become savages. But this proof that that's not this this is proof that that's not the case. So they are a perfect example that humankind has hope. And that is um what we need more of. We do. There's people that, they want to call it faith, or they want to, but just having hope, being able or having something to believe in, or even if it's your significant other, or, you know, um, your love for, your family and all that, having, hope for better times, better days, having hope that the next generation will be better than the prior. That's always the hope. Um, but this is the first album since Century Child in 2002 without Marco. Did that change your approach to writing? No. It doesn't really change anything except now we had two voices instead of three. Only Floor and Troy, but that's it. It really didn't change much at all. And Juka, the new bassist, is such a grounded personality that it's so easy to work with him. And his bass playing skills, which I need to get to Another Winter Sun, I know. Um, his playing skills are tremendous, quite different from how Marco played the bass. I don't think he's trying to throw shade on Marco here, though. I just think he's just saying that it gives him something new to work with, so it gives him a new perspective, a new, a way to do things. Um, we know in game development, sometimes constraints help things get more creative and better and innovate. And um, but he was different playing the bass, but also brought a new spice into the music. So nothing but positive things to say about it all. Which again, I don't think he's any shade on Marco. There are many bands in the world that don't have a single original member anymore, and I think it comes to looking at you, foreigner. There's a lot of band legacy acts out there that are, there's still some legacy acts like Def Leppard that are still pumping out music, and then there's some that they should just stop. Maybe for some people, certain bands are so holy that they can stand if they don't even have certain members in it. Even though the music would be good, but I don't really think like that. I just listen to the music, not the personnel behind it. Um, that's all that matters to me. Um, and similarly, does it feel weird to be talking about an album that for the first time you won't be going on tour? No, it doesn't feel weird. Nope, doesn't feel weird at all. It feels right, and if it does, that's the way it should go. Um, we just signed a multi-record deal with Nuclear Blast. So those of you saying that this is the last album or this could be it, sorry. Um, so there will be more music coming, definitely. But as far as shows, we're just gonna have to have a long breather now and see what happens. I can guarantee you they're gonna be doing one-offs. They're gonna be doing shows. It's just they're not gonna be doing tours. But I can guarantee there's gonna be Nightwish shows. It's gonna happen. I don't care. It's gonna happen. I'm Nostradamus. That's the facts. But, like you said, that's all I could say at the moment. We got our fair share in 2022 and 2023. They had to bust ass. And it was such a weird setup and scenario for them. So I get it. We did a lot of shows. So that helped. Now, the album is going to release September 20th via Nuclear Blast. And like I said, they signed a multi-record contract. So any of the naysayers out there saying nay, I say nay to you, sir. No, this is awesome. I can't wait. And this sounds corny. I know this sounds like, but I'm excited to get to experience it with everybody. All my Nightwish experiences have been like kind of secondhand. They've been after the fact. It's and it's not like I'm, has nothing to do with like, the reactions or anything like that. It's awesome when you find a band and you learn about them, and then now that you're a part of that fan base, now you get to experience the new release. It's just cool when you find a new band and you're up to speed. And now, which I still think I got a lot of learning to do, to tell you the truth. But I think, I really have learned this band alone has definitely inspired me in so many different ways, musically, even emotionally. So yeah, I can understand why this band has such a devoted fan base. And they have earned it. They have earned every bit of it, and I cannot wait for the new song. I'm gonna go look to see if I have a promo thing in my email. Yeah, it's been a really weird couple months for me. We got a lot of things going on behind the scenes that weren't exactly planned going on, life. So yeah. But this is awesome, and I'm excited, and I'm like glad that it's almost like a late birthday present that we're gonna get a new Nightwish song. We're gonna get to talk about it, and yeah, and like I said, just because they're gonna be touring doesn't mean they're not going to be doing shows. And I think he's kind of like, it's the little wink and nod the way he left that an open ended thing, So yeah, I really think that we got a lot of fun still yet to have with Nightwish, and I think they will be putting some special shows out there to back this up, whether it be a tour or not. No, I don't think so, but I do think they'll be doing some special live, totally filmed professional shows to really help boost this, because we live in an age where that can help just as much as literally going on tour. So yeah, let me know what you think. I know this has been a really long one. I wanted to get all this out. This is a great interview from Kerrang. I'm going to link to all of it so you can read it at your own leisure. And definitely, I skipped over some stuff, but I really wanted to get an idea of what the thought process behind all of this was. And there was a lot of people or I won't say like fan base, but people in the media acting like, because of the time it was written in, that this album might have a lot of harsh realities or a lot of, um, touching on negative topics when, you know, even if they are, it's going to be in an optimistic way from what I'm hearing. So I really, again, I look forward to hearing it all. And I just, yeah, can't say enough about this band. If this is your first time even hearing about this band, go listen. Just go. I'll have you all linked up down there. And or wherever it is on whatever device you're on. And yeah, just definitely check this band out. Get hooked up. They're one of them bands that'll change your life. If, it's like how Tool fans get about Tool, and how I just and especially we need the positivity. We live in these, like he said, we're always living in these trying times in one way or another, and there's a lot of outside sources, I'll say, that project that and make that more of a reality. They make their imagination a reality, and we have to live within that reality. And I think having something to escape that reality and going to another reality, I think that is a great idea. So yeah. Um Cannot wait. Gonna be awesome. Let me know what you think, and any thoughts. What do you suggest we check out next? I want to check out more from the last album, so I can be, because it feels like they're doing this like trilogy thing, kind of with it. So I want to get more educated on these last few albums, especially. But yeah, any suggestions? Totally, please. If you got an artist or anybody, please leave them in the comments below. If you got any uh suggestions about Nightwish, or any bands in this realm or any realm, please leave them in the comments. Let us know. This is how we've been doing this. We don't follow algorithms, we follow your suggestions. So this channel is made up of your awesome suggestions, and we thank you very much. We've got like 13,000 subscribers or something crazy like that. So yeah, it's been a fun ride. I've been having a lot of fun. It's been helping me mentally. It's really been an awesome thing, and I appreciate each and every one of you. And I love hearing everybody's opinions and suggestions and all that. You're all an awesome bunch of folks, I gotta tell you. So thank you very much. Very grateful. Let me know what you think. Hope you're having a great day out there. Hope it's going as good as it possibly can be. We got tons more news, reviews, reacts, all that good stuff to check out. So take a look around. Definitely, you're gonna find something that you've never heard before. I guarantee it. You are gonna find some awesome music that you're like, I need this in my life. You're welcome in advance. Have a great day out there, everybody. We'll see you on the next one.